Things that our people do for money. Things that our people do for money.
You guys hear me?
Gentlemen, how we doing? Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me?
I can see you.
Okay.
Can you hear me though?
I can hear you. I got Gabe in the building. Amadou. All right. We got the crew.
You hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
I can hear you, man.
Can you hear me? Little tech situation, but we almost there. Amadou, can you hear me? Gabe, can you hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Tomisi, can you hear me? Let me see. Joshua, Josh, you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Loud and clear.
The president of Zambia. You got that chair ready.
I can hear you, Leonard.
You cannot hear me? let me see. I'm gonna do.
You hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Hey, I'm in Butu International in Cape Cod here.
Okay.
My name is Amadou.
All right. Let me start with Amadou. I'm gonna remove y'all folks. I'll be right back. Yes, Amadou, can you hear me? I can hear you, boss. We live. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Awesome. Listen, welcome, man. Thank you for doing this. Boston, Massachusetts, New England, we're live. Fairmount Innovation Lab. Welcome to the African Shopping Network, brought to you by Fairmount Innovation Lab in collaboration with myself.
Can you put me down the music a little bit?
We over here, spotlighting, African entrepreneur from the diaspora in Boston. And we got our first guest, Amadou Kane, by way of Senegal, Dakar. Mon frère, how you doing, mon frère? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing great, brother. Thank you. I'm in Brockton, the Cape Cod.
You're in Brockton. Listen, it is so good to see you and to have you here, man. One of the things about you, Amadou, is like the word on the street, you own two of the largest African clothing store in Massachusetts. Is this true? One in Brockton, one in Cape Cod, correct?
Yeah, man, I hear you very, very low. But anyway, I'm gonna show you what I had my store over here in the Cape Cod.
Yeah, tell me. Tell me about your store.
Mall.
Okay.
And this is a beautiful day over here today. So nice outside, and a couple people in the mall here. It's so beautiful here. Just I'm gonna.
What are you selling? What are you selling?
Here.
What are you selling at the store?
Just take a look at it here.
Okay, we got some drums.
You guys see?
Yeah, we can see. What is it exactly? Can you tell the people what is that you're showcasing?
This is the animal here, making wood. It's come from Senegal, and we have beautiful picture. Everything here. That is the beginning over here, and we have we're selling clothes, right? Basket.
Wow.
All type of clothes from west to east, right? How you doing, sir? You need help? Just let me know. Yeah, thank you very much. You see those beautiful baskets here?
And what type of clothes? What type of clothes are they, Amadou? What type of clothes?
Yeah, the clothes. All the clothes from West Africa. Most of them West Africa and Central Africa. And the story is right here. We sell all this beautiful baskets, right?
Wow.
We sell kente from the West, everything here.
Kente.
Yeah, this section here, we have all those beaters, shea butter, all this natural here. Incense.
Oh, shea butter, okay.
Right? That section here. Right? We got everything here you need from West Africa.
I could tell. So What are those? These are like I saw some skirt in there. So
Yeah, let me move here a little bit here. We got
okay,
all this
okay.
beautiful jewelry, most of them from South Africa and East Africa. Some here, this is the batik. We have all those the fabric from West Africa.
Yep.
Basket, handmade, car toys, everything here, right? Calabash, all this the batik painting, batiks, bags, and we have those beautiful animals here, made with the soda bottle here.
Oh, nice. Was this made? Was
Right.
this made in
Elephant
Senegal,
here.
or where was this made?
Right? We got all this horn cup here, right? All this horn cup here. If you didn't beautiful make, it's made real horn. We got a sand picture here.
Wow.
Right? All this glass picture.
What are
Fans,
those? Amadou?
everything
Okay.
here.
Yep.
All the sand we can make bags, hot plate, display, Masai. We got to the wood over here, all the wood animal mask. Beautiful here,
Nice.
right?
Amadou,
All
let me
this
ask you a
animal-
question.
We have the jewelry section here.
Amadou, can you
from
hear
the
me?
West beats, key rings.
That's all right, folks. We're
Earrings.
getting a live tour of the store.
Over here we have the animal here, right? Beautiful musical instrument section here, from drum to
Yep.
kora, junjung, djembe, anything basket. We have those the chair where we saw the bottle here, beautiful, right? We have those the painting. You got it, brother?
Nice.
Painting here, all this animal wood here with the horn. Just basically we have everything here.
That's
Beautiful.
how long you been at the store, Amadou? How long you been at the
Huh?
store? How long you been at the store?
In Cape Cod here, I mean, it's open last May. Almost going to be a year, 12 months right now. But in the Brockton,
Okay.
we've been here for almost over 15 years.
Wow.
The place I'm showing you here, that's the Cape Cod.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Cape Cod, Hyannis. That's where we are right now.
Amazing.
That's our
What's the
Cape Cod
address?
Mall.
Can you tell the people the address of the Cape Cod store
Yeah,
in
the
Brock?
address is the Cape Cod Mall. You can Google it. We're in the Cape Cod Mall in Hyannis.
Okay.
Cape Cod Mall in Hyannis.
And they'll come
It's,
find you. Okay.
It's
What about
very
in Brockton?
busy town during the summer. Right? We're in the mall here. You
Yeah.
see in the older store here. You see all the traffic
Nice.
in the mall. Right?
Amadou, let me ask you a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. You've been there for 20
Yeah,
years.
I hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, you've been at the store for 20 years. What do you think are some of
In
the
Brockton, I've been here
challenges?
20 years, but here I've been
20
here 4
years,
years.
okay.
Almost a year now.
Let me ask you this. What are some of the challenges that African immigrant entrepreneurs face? You think it's easy or it's difficult?
You know that, man. It's always difficult. Being an African, and
Yeah.
especially importing those African products from Africa. A lot of people didn't know. It's always challenging. It's very difficult, brother. Very, very difficult.
And have you been during COVID? Is your business being impacted, or how did you navigate COVID?
Hey, man, like everybody, COVID is always tough situation all around the world. But we got to do what we can, man. We really understand. And it's not easy with the COVID, especially with the COVID. It's very tough everywhere. But we're doing the best we can with the family. And all my family is behind me. And this thing is a family business. Wife, kids. That's my kids here sitting here. His name is Umar. He's in high school.
Okay.
He's been here for a week now. Umar, say hi to
Building
them,
up, pass it on to the youth, huh?
you know?
Yeah.
And
Wow. You have
my
a beautiful,
brother, my mom,
beautiful
everybody.
stores, man.
This is a family business. We have 2 stores. And in the one in Brockton. And yeah, without my family, I really can't do it. But
Amazing,
thanks God, I have
man.
my family behind me.
Yes. Wow, this is amazing. I want to give a recap. Amadou from Butu International by way of Senegal, West Africa, 2-store, one in Brockton, which is 225 Main Street in Brockton, Mass, and the Cape Cod Mall, 769 Yanuth Road. So please go over there. So Amadou is very proud, always present the best of African clothing, arts, with really different cultural styles. So please head out to Amadou's store, and when you get there, you might give you a discount. Let them know that African Denzel sent you. Oh man, listen, Amadou, man, I really want to thank you for stopping by. We want to, our goal was to spotlight your store. I think you owe to the largest African store in Massachusetts. So stop by, go see Amadou. Thank you for stopping by, Amadou. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much, brother, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You're doing a good job, man.
We'll stay in touch. We got a lot coming up with Amadou, man. We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff with Amadou. The Boston African Festival coming up in August. So stay tuned, folks. Welcome to the African Shopping Network. Thank you, Amadou. Have a good one, brother.
Hey, thank you very much, brother. Have a nice day.
Good one. African Festival coming up in August. So stay tuned, folks. Welcome to the African Shopping Network. Thank you, Amadou. Have a good one, brother. Thank you very much, brother. Have a good one. So stay tuned, folks. Welcome to the African Shopping Network. Thank you, Amadou. Have a good one, brother. Thank you very much, brother. Yes, Boston, how y'all doing? Listen, once again, happy Saturday. Welcome to African Shopping Network, put together by Fairmount Innovation Lab in collaboration with myself, Consciously Exposed, my consulting agency known as AD African Denzel. Our goal today is really to show some love and showcase some of the talents of various African entrepreneurs. So let's get it, Boston. Yeah. Boston, New England, how y'all doing?
You got the jams today, huh?
Welcome to the Congo, people. Oh, man. Yes, Boston, New England live. We are live. Listen, we have our two guests, two amazing entrepreneurs. The word on the street, they're the dynamic duo by way of Congo, DRC, living in Massachusetts. Everybody just give it up for Christian and Tomisi. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome by way of Congo. How y'all doing, man?
Good, brother. Thanks for having us. It's always good to see you as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Christian, how you doing?
Keeping well, brother.
That's it, man. I'm so happy to see y'all, man. Y'all resumes off the chain, man. But this is good, I think, because one of the things is, first of all, where's home for y'all? Where y'all from? Let the people know. Do y'all live in Massachusetts or in Congo? Where you from?
I'm based in Boston.
Christian, you want to go?
Yeah, based in Boston.
Based in Boston, okay.
Yeah, from Congo. How
about you, Tomisi?
I'm in Boston, but I'm by the way of Congo because I like to get back home to get some really good food there as well. On more than one occasion. You know what I'm talking about.
That's it. Amazing, man. Now I gotta let the people know. Like, listen, man. Christian, man, co-founder of what is it, Bit Hub Africa? Did I say that right?
That's right.
Amazing. A lady blockchain accelerator research hub based in Nairobi, Kenya. Wow, a lot of technology startup for the past 10 years. Amazing. And obviously Tomisi, who does not know Tomisi in the community, Congolese community, man. Amazing guy, venture company operating in DRC. Wow, nurturing young entrepreneur. Man, listen, man, I could read this all day, but I think the people want to hear from you all. Tell us exactly, what do you do? What do y'all do? Like this dynamic duo here, I'm smelling a lot. Y'all cooking some good stuff, so it's about to take over the world. So what exactly do y'all do?
Yeah, I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Christian Kakoba. I've been involved in tech for the past 10 years, mostly around payments. And I found a few challenges around payments in Africa. We have a lot of issue of interoperability. I'll break it down. If you're in Kenya, you find the people at the base of the pyramid, people who live in semi-urban or urban area. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so people who live at the base of the pyramid basically use mobile money, which is M-Pesa. But M-Pesa has a big challenge because it's not interoperable. It means if you're using M-Pesa in Kenya, you cannot scale it in Uganda or Tanzania or West Africa. So it's a big challenge for entrepreneurs to do business in Africa because you cannot scale your business easily in many countries in Africa. So when I found out Bitcoin blockchain in 2014, I found it was a huge opportunity for the continent because we have many challenges with our currencies. We have so many challenges with the infrastructure back home.
Yeah.
So we said, how can you build solutions on top of this technology so Africans can benefit from it? So 2 years ago, I found my business partner, Tomisi, 3 years ago, actually. And he told me, hey, I really like what you're doing. And I feel like we can expand this opportunity back home. So we registered a business here in the US to see how we can build capacity for young engineers that we have back home and see how we can outsource some projects, work with clients, partners here in the US to outsource projects for young entrepreneurs who are back home. So we've, over the past 2 years, we've launched a few projects back home. One of the flagship projects that we're working on right now is Okapi Mobile. So I'll let Tomisi talk more about it. Tomisi, do you want to jump in?
Thank you, Christian.
Tomisi, he can't hear me. Tomisi.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So I think as Christian talked about, there's a ton of learnings we learned from his experience in Kenya that we brought to Congo. So one of the flagship projects that we're working on is called Okapi. Okapi is and if you can see that my phone, I have a phone.
Yes. Let the world speak more on that.
It's a Congolese phone made by Congolese intellect. So Professor Jean Bailey, who's a professor at MIT, we connect with him. So we've been really partnering with him. How do we bring the phone to market? We've had good success launching in the US. So it's available here in the US, okapius.com or okapimobile.com. And then on top of that, he's expanded out to other products. So we also have laptops. So this is the Okapi laptop. We have really trying to develop a Congolese high-tech company. So one of the things you're well aware of is like all the minerals that are made for technology come from our earth, right?
Yes. Let the world know, Tomisi. They're gonna learn today. They're gonna learn
today, right? So with the prof is like, you know what? If you look at $1, we probably only make $1 of that full dollar in Congo with the minerals, but we don't get the full value stream. So the next step of this project is really starting assembly and manufacturing plant back in Congo. So that's where the professors had his eyes on, and we've been working side by side, leveraging the Django Lab and some of the capacities we bring in Christian's experience to, one, build the capacities for today, but also think about once you start a factory in Congo, you're going to need to build that capacity both in hardware manufacturing and also in software as well.
Wow, that's amazing, man. And the great thing about this is that with what y'all doing with the professor, folks are based here in Massachusetts, And so let me ask you these questions. So how do you feel about, building that bridge between, like Boston and Congo? What are you guys' thoughts around that? Because essentially we are based in the diaspora and we're trying to, build some project from home, but we also here as well too. So what do y'all think about building that bridge just to make sure that our people back home also benefit, and us here as well too. So what does that building bridge look like according to y'all? Because there's a lot of resources in Boston and Massachusetts as well, but we're just trying to find a way. How can we build those bridges?
Yeah, I think certainly when it comes to building the bridges, the bridge already exists, right? So if you talk about the products that we touch, right, electronics, right, and the space we're in, like it's already there, right? The question is like, how do we create some mutually shared value throughout that experience? Where I talk to a lot of brothers and sisters who are, you know, who are more from here around that, right? Because a lot of folks from other countries, they're investing heavy in Africa, right? They understand that Africa has the biggest youth population in the world, right?
Emerging market in the world, right?
Emerging market, tons of labor, and a really untapped resource pool for the world, right? In nature, and a lot of people are doing a lot of great things there. And for Congo, the first step, I always say, like, make that first trip, right? Go out there, see it, be amongst the people, understand what's happening there, because you'll have some ideas, and people already on the ground, they have ideas how to solve or think about their challenges. And I think through that bridge, by exchanging both in person and also, you know, we live in a digital age, and also engaging with folks there digitally, it's a really great opportunity. And I think if there's folks seeking that, contact us at Jingle Lab. Tons of opportunities we can help create that bridge for folks as well.
Amazing. What do y'all think about, I mean, when it comes to entrepreneurship or African entrepreneur, what do you think some of the challenge that we face here in terms of resources or trying to grow a business? You know, because we are in the diaspora and we're trying to establish project back home. What do y'all see some of the challenges that us as African immigrant entrepreneur or from the African community that we face?
Yeah, so I think there are always challenges immigrants face, but nonetheless, you know, when you look at the general business landscape, immigrants they always have that entrepreneurship mindset. When you look at the data, 50% of companies here in America, they basically started with immigrants or immigrant children. Many of the tech company run by all the immigrants. So when we come in countries like US as immigrants, we always have that entrepreneurship mindset, but that comes with a lot of risks. And it's that risks now that give us a bit of challenge on how we can get access to funding, you know, how we can get access to many resources locally. I was pretty lucky 3 years ago when I met my partner Tomisi. He told me, hey, I like what you're working on, and I think I can get us some funding. And this was an opportunity for us to basically bootstrap and start off with something. But not every immigrant like me would be lucky to find a community of people, like-minded people like Tomisi and the professor who want to do something back home. So I think access to resources, the funding, it's one of the biggest challenges that immigrants are facing. And then there's also lack of networking.
Yes.
When you come in this country, I really like the African Shopping Festival that you're actually doing, because it's an opportunity for all entrepreneurs to meet and to exchange ideas and to know how they can meet and start something off. I basically met Tomisi through a forum in New York, and this is how we started all this project.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we have more opportunities like this in networking events, it can help to connect immigrants who are coming here and to help them to basically start off something. Yeah.
Well, now you met me, and I think and it's all about just the visibility, right? Leverage networking, because so we can keep the strain going. Really bring awareness and visibility from the talent that we have here in Massachusetts, in the local Boston area, and building that bridging back home. So we're going to continue keep doing this. Tomisi, let me ask you a question. Let's emphasize a little bit about the professor, because we know the professor. You know, just emphasize a little bit about to the people who's the professor, and you know they have to know who we're talking about here. Me and you know, but really dive a little bit about the whole Okapi enterprise and the laptop that you show, because he's based here in Massachusetts. They don't even know who he is.
Exactly. No, so the first thing about the professor Jean Billy, which is his name, he's a professor at MIT in physics. So he's one of the brightest minds we have in this globe, right? Just to kind of, and he'll sell himself short on that, but really plays a critical part in what they're doing over there in MIT and their education. MIT, we know, is one of the top educational institutions in the globe. And with Boston being one of the top educational cities in the globe, and he's right up there as one of their top professors. So from their perspective, people always ask, like, how can he make phones, right? And his simple answer has always been like, it's physics, right? If somebody's able to who's mastered physics, right, of that existed, is able to look at the component. What does it take to make a phone and to make technology, right? And when we're talking about making a phone, right, the big part is really the intellectual property. How does everything work together? How does the component parts? How's the motherboard react to the electricity and different things like that? There's not a lot of countries in the world who are still doing high tech, right? You got the U.S., you got Korea, Japan, and China, and then a lot of European countries aren't doing it the way they used to. Like Nokia is not what it used to be. Even BlackBerry Canada is not what it used to. So the fact that the professor, with his intellect, the team that he's building, is able to start putting Africa back on the map in this space is huge, right? Because that's some of that knowledge that would when we talk to him, because it's somebody who's accomplished everything that he needs to accomplish in life, right? And he's like, this is the legacy. Congo gave me life, and from there he navigated Canada, the U.S. He's like, this is what I can leave to my people back in Congo, something that they can build off for generations to come, something that'll feed them and also build upon that, because once you can do high tech, you can do many other things in the world.
Amazing. Yeah. And this is not the end, because we're going to follow up, because essentially I go here myself collaborating with Fairmont Innovation Lab is to bring the awareness about a project like this, bring the awareness about how we can build bridges, showcase the many talent that we have, and essentially, building wealth through entrepreneurship to small businesses and building wealth through emerging markets on the continent, to know that there's so many emerging markets in Congo. So we got to, stay on that narrative versus the other narrative of the genocide in the world we all know. But everybody and their mama are in Africa right now, doing business. So the diaspora, the local diaspora is here. Lastly, man, can you tell the folks, where do the people find your services or reach out to you for follow-up? Because I know I'm going to blow y'all too, but I'm going to just keep going all year long. But tell the people where they can find you all, in terms of your services, how they can follow up.
Yeah, so you can find us at ujengolab.com. I'll leave the link on the chat. And if you want to buy a phone, you can go to okapimobile.com, and you'll be happy to have one of the phone made by Congolese. Thank you.
That's it, by way of Congo. Y'all got to move a little bit, man. Yeah. Listen, shout out to Tomisi and Christian. Thank you both, gentlemen. We will follow up. Amazing talent by way of Congo. Thank you. See you soon.
All right. Take care, family. Good seeing you.
We'll continue, Fairmont. Let's get it. We are now over. How y'all feeling, Boston? Let's see what we got. Yeah. Boston, New England, how y'all doing? Next, we have Rosa Galvao, but I gotta get to the dance first. Hold on. Yeah.
Oh wait, we gotta dance.
Come on, bro, let him know. Yeah.
The jam. I'm trying to get with your energy. I'm trying to get with your energy.
Rosa, welcome.
Thank you.
Listen, welcome to the African Shopping Network, the virtual edition. Our next guest is Rosa Galvao. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, Galvao, you did a really good job.
Galvao, by way of Kit Bird. Man, listen.
Hey, Birdie in the house. Yes.
That's it. How you doing, Rosa? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for being here. And, you know, let's get right into it, because I know I could tell the whole world about what you do, which is amazing. But listen, tell the folks exactly what do you do and who are you? Let's get it.
Okay, let's get into it. Thank you for having me, by the way. I appreciate you. Okay, so I'm a financial coach, and I know a lot of people are, well, what does that mean? So I help people solve financial problems. So I serve people for a living. So I am essentially their guide, financial guide. Some of the services that we provide is protection planning, accumulation planning up for retirement. And then we're like a big market that we're in is helping state workers with their state pensions. Yeah. And so essentially I help people figure out how to get out of the woods. And so, or how not to get into the woods. So if you're in the woods, you could be a little lost. And so trying to figure out where the person is financially and ultimately where they want to see themselves in the future. And so what I do is to help you get out of the woods is to create a map or help you we create the map together, but I'll be your guide and get you through the woods, through the ups and the downs and the different things that may come up in life. So for, you know, life happens. So sometimes there's things that may take you down a river. So I'll help you get down the river, and I'll help you climb whatever, you know, mountain you need to get to.
Wow.
To get to your final destination as far as finance is concerned. And so helping people figure out where they are and going from a place where you're living from paycheck to paycheck to putting you in a position where you no longer have to live that way, and you can actually pay yourself first and make your money work for you. Yeah.
Wow, it's funny as you're speaking. Thank you for sharing all of this. I mean, do you think it's well received, this whole financial planning notion, especially among African diaspora community, African immigrant community, like in the Cape Verde community? What has been your perception in terms of the services? Is it well received financial planning, or what are some of the, you know, the myth and the obstacle that you think our community are facing?
Yeah, some of the myths is that, oh, you have to have money, and so you can start wherever you are. I mean, we're dealing with people sometimes from like making $30,000 a year to, you know, others making $350,000 a year. So it's like it varies, but everyone can still have the same challenges. And so sometimes people think like, oh, I don't have enough money to go see a financial advisor. That's the big one I get. When I get my money up, but it's almost like, no, if you can come and see the financial advisor, I can help you with creating the map to get you out of where you are, instead of thinking with the notion of I'm stuck. I'm stuck, or I don't know how to get out. It's almost like, you know, hiring someone to get you in shape. Sometimes we know what to do, but we don't always do it. And so you go and hire a personal trainer to help you.
To kind of show. Wow. So do you think essentially we could build entrepreneurship through financial planning, like building wealth? Is that what it is? Do you think we can build wealth through financial planning?
Yes, definitely. If that's what the person, that's what their goal is. It depends on what your goal is. And so the goals, the work that we do is very tailor-made. And so it depends on your goal. If being an entrepreneur is something that you're looking to go after, yes, whatever your goals are. Like if it's like an accumulation we use an accumulation strategy. If you're looking to buy a house, if you're looking to save money to put towards your business, if that's your goal, yes, so we can help you.
Well, that's good to know. Now it makes sense, because you know, there's so many challenging that, you know, we facing as a community, also entrepreneur. But I think the financial planning, it's always that piece where people sometimes struggle to connect the dots, you know, because you got to start with building yourself. What have you seen in terms of challenging when it comes to like money management or just planning at all among like, especially, you know, your community, Cape Verde, or in general immigrant? Because I think sometimes, you know, language barriers is there, that culture barriers there, and the resources out there, but they may not know how to navigate that. But essentially, money management, financial planning, and small business ownership, it's all the same thing, but I don't think, you know.
Right. So there's protection planning, and that's one of the things that are probably not really focused or paid attention to. People hear about it, but they don't know exactly how some of the services or items, the service that it provides you with. So protection planning is essentially protecting what you have. And so if you have a house and you have a car and you have children that you have to take care of, you have to put certain protections in place in order to be able to have those things run even if you're out of commission. So the thing is that as society, or the people that I'm around anyways, that they'll have more coverage on their iPhone, so more insurance on their iPhone than they have on themselves.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Let me find out. I may feel guilty. I don't know.
Right.
Why is that? Why is that, Rosa? Why is that? Is it comforting? We're comfortable with?
Right. I think sometimes a lot of it's maybe like not knowing. Some of it, people are just doing what the other person's doing and just not realizing they don't have to be in that place. And so it's somewhat of a, I guess, like a scary thing of having more protection on your iPhone. You care about it, but you don't have disability insurance. So if something happens to you, who's going to pay the bills? You don't have long-term care insurance for when you get old and somebody's going to to help take care of you if you're no longer capable or able to do that. And so we put that burden sometimes on our children and other family members. And then there's life insurance. Like, people know life insurance, they don't know how much they should get sometimes. They don't know if they have enough. They don't know if they have the right insurance, because they could lapse at a certain year. Like if it's a term insurance, then the price goes up the older you get. So the better it's better for you to get it when you're younger, because that price is locked in for you based on your age and your health. And so a lot of times people, it's just like lack of knowing. And I think us doing things like this, or like speaking in public about it, people get to hear like, oh, maybe I need to look at my life insurance policy. When was the last time I looked at it? Because God forbid something was to happen, you have a husband and a wife with kids, the mortgage has to be paid. And we see these situations sometimes where the life insurance came into play and helped the family out. You haven't had enough time to save up and build that wealth that that you would like to leave behind as a legacy for your children, for them to either go to college or whatever your goals are. And so as a result, you know how it goes. Like the father goes or the mother goes, they're both working parents. And then it's like, can we stay in this house? Can we remain in this house? Are we able to pay for the car? Do we have to get rid of the car, go move in with grandma, whatever the case may be? Or people don't even have the basic life insurance sometimes, where they're having to take a lot of GoFundMes. So there's the GoFundMe movement where people they have more life insurance. They have life insurance. I mean, they have insurance on their car. They have insurance on cell phones, renter's insurance, but so
I know. No, these are great information, you know, for everyone to know. I mean, regardless, but I think pertaining to our community, just as an African diaspora community, especially immigrant community, these are the conversation that we have to have and elevate. And I know, you know, you by way of Cape Verde, did you go back home oftentimes? Do you think that, because obviously that knowledge that you have, the life insurance, financial planning, you think you could transfer that knowledge home, like implement the same services? Is it like the same home?
So no, and as far as am concerned, no, you don't have life insurance as it exists here, where you're getting tax-free dollars in a lump sum amount that's given to you. So I think that would be like a great thing for us to gain more knowledge about, because that's essentially money that we can do something with to help out however you see fit, whether it be going back to Cape Verde and retiring there. And that's another thing that I help with, is helping people with the retirement plans. People know that they have a 401k at work, but they don't know exactly when they can retire, how long they're going to have to work. And so we help look at your finances to help make that determination. And so
that's good. And do you think, particularly to the Cape Verdean community, I think you think that really, are they receptive to this whole notion, or there's some culture barrier or some misunderstanding around that?
There are some culture barriers. I feel like maybe like the younger generation, but I can actually say there's people my age that feel like, oh, that's a scam. And so it's just it's a lack of knowledge, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm active in just spreading this information out and tapping into other people and working with them to help, spread the word out there, to be able to help everyone that needs help. So whether locally, and then, obviously you could take whatever you have and do what you see fit with it.
Yeah, it's needed, man. I think it's needed on so many levels. Tell the people, where do the people find your services? I'll reach out to follow up, because this is such a great conversation in the African diaspora community, especially pertaining to entrepreneur, small business. Even myself, I had to learn over time, but I think that, and this is why we're doing this, our Fairmount Innovation Lab, in collaboration with myself, building all this network, create visibility around all this incredible small business, but really including financial planning in the conversation, because sometimes small business feel like, oh no, I don't have to do financial planning. No, it is what it is, because I want to retire back home in Congo. I know Rosa want to retire back home in Cape Verde. We could travel back and forth building that bridge, but financial planning is where it's at. Tell the people where they can find you. I'll make sure I stay in touch with you, but go ahead.
Okay, so I've included my information there in the chat. And so that's our office location. We're located in Braintree. You're welcome to come into the office. If not, you can call me at 857-499-8087. And I've also included my Calendly link for anyone who wants to schedule an appointment with me.
Yes.
And my Facebook business page. Right now, I don't have we have the company website, which is also listed on here, which is Rise North Capital. Oh, I've put it on here twice.
That's fine.
And so all of my information is there. So if anyone needs to get in contact with me, or they can, I guess, contact me via you or however.
Yeah, however, just get on the calendar, because we're going to stay in touch all year long. This is not just a one-time thing, because the goal is to really keep the conversation going. We want to thank you so much, Rosa. I appreciate you making the time before you leave. We got to do some move. Yeah, get bored. Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Leonard. Thank you.
It's a madness. The package you carry is the largest. Maybe you look like a goddess. I go pack up to my palace. Leave the evidence for later. I go collect something from my data. I wanna see you on your best day. If you don't know what you wear, straight up.
Yes, Boston. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Happy Saturday again. Listen, what we are doing here. Hold on, the music is coming back. Yo, hold on. Hey. So I gotta calm down a little bit, but listen. Yeah, welcome to the African Shopping Network, man. We're just kind of spotlighting amazing entrepreneur with from the African community diaspora in Boston. Have them talk about their product and the service. I can really elevate the dialogue, But next, we got brother Gabriel Carter, but the music is coming up. Yo, come on. Yeah. Come on, y'all. Yes, Boston, listen. We going through a lot, man. It's a lot going on in the world, man. Welcome to the African Shopping Network. I'm your host, AD, Africa Denzel. Y'all know I get down. One more time. I'm gonna have to get up, man. Hold on. Eh. There's no shame in my game, man. All right, next. Join in, tune in. We got amazing guests coming up. We got the best of Afrobeat in the building. Let's get it. Help me with that.
It's Micah E on the beat. Hey, this one na Sara. The beat is tarantana. It go make you manya. The next is in manya. Oh yeah, make you ricotta, Mama Africa, ricotta, make you dance, yeah. Everybody.
Boston, we are back. We are live. Listen to the best of Afrobeat. If you just tune in, welcome to the African Shopping Network, where we are spotlighting amazing African entrepreneur from the African community, really talking about the product and services that could benefit all of us as American of all, race, but especially our people. So welcome. Now next, we have the amazing Gabriel Carter. Gabe, how you doing, brother?
Well, Leo, thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you, Mr. Gabriel, Mr. Carter, by way of Liberia. Oh, you got to make some noise, man. Living in Boston, Massachusetts. Listen, nice. Mr. Carter is a banking professional with experience in retail banking, compliance, and commercial banking at some of the nation's biggest banks. So, wow, I can read this all along. So, apparently, when it comes to economists, venture capitalists, finance, investing in businesses, that's amazing. Gabe, I'm gonna let you got to tell the people exactly what do you do, man. I just mentioned a bunch of things, and I feel like that's what we need in the diaspora, man. So tell the folks exactly what do you do.
Leo, again, thank you for having me. And I think I had a pleasure of listening to the rest of the guests. Great group of people, actually. Great work that they actually do. I work in banking. As you said, I've worked at the you name it. I worked at Bank of America, Citizen, and in different roles. I started in retail, went in compliance, and now on the investment side on commercial credit. Right. Pretty much what I do, I make decisions on businesses, whether you want to acquire a company, whether you're looking to expand, whether you're just looking for a line of credit to bridge your receivables. I am the guy on the back end that says yay or nay, basically looking at things to make sure that the banks is really protected in those categories. And I deal with a lot of businesses, you name it, I deal with them, whether healthcare, you look at the commercial real estate, you look at construction, any type of business, we deal with those. So that's that's what I've been doing for the last, I would say, 7-8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is.
It's funny as you're talking. So let me ask you this: what have you seen, especially when it comes to African immigrant on businesses or African entrepreneur? Because I know everybody needs capital, man. Sometimes it's not easy to get access to capital. What are some of the challenges that you have seen when especially in our own community? Because we need capital, we need money, but sometimes we don't know where to go about. What's some of the challenges that you've seen? Yeah,
that is a brilliant question, and those are some of the things I ran into in my early days in my career, and up to now I still see that on a regular basis. I think the biggest challenge will be whether you're just an entrepreneur starting out or somebody who is fully established, like the guy who has the African clothing business, right? The challenge is, one, I would say relationships. Two, it's access to capital, right? So if you're just starting out, like the world we live in evolves around relationships, right? Relationships can get you through door. So let's say you're an entrepreneur just starting out, right? And you don't have access to money, or you don't have the accounting money for your accounting, or to hire an accountant, or you don't need a banker right now. Yes, you may not need those right now, but I would say cultivate those relationships That way, when you need them, they're already there. You've already developed those relationships. You've already honed those relationships. You've already nurtured them. So you grow with that person in your relationships, like your business. So by the time you need, like say, to take out a loan, this banker you've been talking to, you who know your business already, will be the first person to even tell you to say, hey, I think you need a line of credit, or I think you need to take out a loan to expand this business, to scale it to whatever you need. But in our community, we don't do that. We wait to say, oh, I don't need a CPA right now. I don't need a banker right now.
Yeah.
Until you get to that point and you realize, okay, I need them. That person have to reacclimate. They have to get to know your business before they can actually vouch for you at the bank. So that's one of the most important things that that I see constantly. Another thing, as I said, is relationships. The biggest thing is resources, right? So there's three things that I usually see in businesses. I call them the three prongs of business. As an entrepreneur just starting out, you probably just know your product or service that you're selling. You know how to do that. You know the sales aspect. But do you understand the operation piece of it? Do you understand the revenue, the finance side of it, right? What I'm asking people that are just starting out in business is, don't be an expert. You don't have to be an expert on all three of them, but just have a gross knowledge to be able to talk those things conversationally to other people, right? And usually most cases, what I've seen, most cases at most, somebody, entrepreneur, somebody who has a business, they probably understand the sales part. They probably understand the operation part, but they don't understand the finance piece of it. And as I said, there's three prongs, right? Three stools. I call them the three stools. You need at least two of those stools to be functioning very well for that business to continue. Now, if you're missing two of them, then that's spell problem. So that's one of the, those are some of the things that I
let me ask you this. So as you encourage people building those relationships, because the biggest thing people might sometimes is credit.
Right.
Where's the credit score thing fitting into the conversation? Is it overlooked? Is it based on character, showing your entire portfolio, or?
Yeah, so that's another great question. So if you look at the credit score thing, so credit score used to be, it still is, but there's not too much emphasis placed on that right now. And this is what, again, I keep going back to relationships. Let's say you might be trying to get a loan for, let's say you want to expand consciously, as opposed to, to different cities, and you go to a bank, right? Your credit score might be borderline. And based on that, it could determine what type of rate you get. You might say, hey, I can only afford a 4% rate, because anything higher at this payment, I can. That banker you've been working with will be able to say, hey, this is the rate that I want to give this guy. Even though I understand his credit score is this, but I've known this guy, I know him very well. They can vouch for you, right? And another important thing that is happening right now, and I think is as a consequence of what happened with this whole pandemic, a lot of banks are creating products or even division to target minority owned and women run businesses, right? And some of those things that we're looking at, is the credit score. They may not always have the best credit score. Yes, the loan may not always be bigger, but they may not always have the best credit score. And those programs within different banks, there's a lot of banks that are doing that right now. They're being more lenient towards that whole beholding entrepreneurs or business owner to that credit score factor of it, right? So, yes, it is one of the biggest part in terms of the underwriting process, but it also, it's not heavily. They're not placing too much emphasis on that, with these programs that these banks are creating now.
Wow, that's great to know, man. Because there's so many myth and misinformation. Sometimes people are discouraging too. What about Liberia? I mean, is there a big community, Liberia community here? And also,
we have.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Ask the question. Sorry.
Because I think it's good too, because you're from Liberia. I'm sure there's a community here. So, what is your goal? Are you trying to essentially, bring all that knowledge back home too? Because emerging markets on the continent is big too. How do you try to build that bridges too? Because that knowledge is needed back home, and with the folks here, what's your game plan? What you thinking?
No, that is also another great question. So, and I think that is incumbent upon us for all immigrants as well, right? We come here to learn certain things and to be able to go back and apply those knowledge. Yes, even though yes, those knowledge may not be there, right? So we go there to fill those void, to teach people. So we become like these pioneers that are, to bring those product or services there. In terms of what I'm learning here, I talk to a lot of small librarian-owned businesses here, but in terms of the bridge there, this I will put this out there, and I think I've said it to other people before. There's two things that I want to do in terms of that country, right? We are looking at another big thing one of your guests mentioned, which is true across all African country: access to capital, right? And access to market. So for me, those are the biggest things. You cannot build an economy without having those things fundamentally there as fundamental to your financial market. And I would speak specifically for Liberia. In Liberia, we do have banks that are there, but they're kind of pretty much just focused on deposit taking. They're not lending broadly to the population. They only pick a select group of people. So what I would like to do in our country is to create, to look at the venture capital side, the private equity side that is going to take small businesses and invest in small businesses, not just invest in them, but pretty much hold these guys by the hand to make sure that, they have access to capital, because there is a sector specifically that banks are not going into, right? And what those sectors that the banks are not going into, we that come from here with the resources, we have to bridge that gap, right? Right. We have to bridge that gap to make sure that, what we're building an economy or a society that is inclusive of all, that we're not just building, focusing on one group of people, that if we do become successful, you do have a fundamental, another heavy big percentage of the population that doesn't have, that are left out, in terms of, when we actually build that growth. So for me, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking to do on it, and that's the type of bridge that I'm looking to build in our country.
Wow, that's amazing. Any particular investment opportunity in Liberia? Any particular sector you think Liberia can benefit the world? Anything?
I think not specifically, but in a broad terms, I think there's three. And this is from my own investment ideology. If you're looking at investment in Africa, what is in Liberia, right? There's three things you got to look. Fundamentally, you have to look at. People are always going to need food, right? People are always going to need a place to live, right? So there's food, there's shelter, and there's always going to need transportation. So those three things, you look at them fundamentally and say, okay, there's those three fundamental sectors. How can I break into one of those? Whether you're looking at the real estate, or you're looking at the transportation, or you're looking at the food market. So for me, those are some of the areas that I'm picking back in on to say, okay, these are fundamentally areas that I would like to target once I begin to make ground in that country.
Wow. Yeah. And what's your message to Liberian entrepreneur or African immigrant entrepreneur here as they're watching and listening? But what's your message to?
No, I think, as I said earlier, it's whether you're just starting out or you've already established. Specifically, if you're starting out in business, right? Build those relationships. You're going to need a CPA eventually. Don't wait till you get there to say, oh man, I just need a CPA right now. I need a CPA right now. Talk to a CPA, even if you can afford them. Nurture that relationship. Let them know about your business, what you want to do.
What CPA stand for, Gabe?
Certified public accounting, right? Somebody who will do your taxes, whether personally or for your company, right? You want to nurture those relationships, right? The same thing you want to do with a banker, or even a bank or somebody within the bank. You want them to understand your business, whether they can actually help you right now or not. You want to bring them along with that relationship. The same thing with a lawyer. You want to develop those relationships. So in times comes when you need them, you don't have to go searching. They're already at your fingertip, to help you in those areas. And so that's what I will, fundamentally, I would like to, put out there. And additionally, lastly, if I may mention this, I said this before, understand your business, right? Understand those three aspects of your business: your sales, how you're making, whether you're selling product or services. You want to understand that part. You want to understand the operation, even though when you're starting out, this is fundamentally something that you're doing all along. You're pretty much wearing every hat, but you know, you want to understand the operation piece of it in case you get to a point where you have to delegate. So that way, if you're talking to the operation person, you already know what to do. You also, most importantly, want to understand your finances. You don't want to have money coming in and you don't know what you're spending your money on. So those three-legged stool that I call are the fundamental pieces of small and medium-sized businesses. And you don't have to be an expert, just have a conversational level of understanding or, you know, to be able to because that's what will help you take a loan.
To take a loan and move forward. Wow, that is a lot of information, man. Lastly, man, tell the people, where do they find your services? How can they reach out to you for follow up? Because I know we're going to stay in touch with Gabe. We have a lot of stuff that we're cooking throughout the year. This is not just a one-time thing, but the people know where they can find you.
I mean, I work for a bank, so if you but individually, as I said, I always avail myself to people who needs help. If you want to find me, I'm on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I am on Twitter. Basically, my name, as you see it on there, that's the name that I go by. The same picture you see on there, probably the same face is the same face on there. I don't have some kind of a different picture on there, so you will see.
You don't got bodyguards or something. Like that. Okay.
No, you can reach out to me directly, either Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. I'm mostly for business purposes. I'm mostly, I would say,
accessible.
I utilize my LinkedIn more. So you definitely reach out to me on there. And as you said, this is a continuous thing. I know we used to have these things at the you know, the WeWork downtown Boston. We used to have like this whole group of people, right? And you know, hopefully we can actually do that. And the goal here is not about what you learn, but how you impact other people to become better who they are, right? So
and for us,
I mean,
man, we have access to Gabriel, man,
right.
And here at Fairmount Innovation Lab and in collaboration with my agency, that is the game plan.
Right.
All this, you know, entrepreneurship, small business, really learning the knowledge. And as we do now locally, we also want to do that, you know, globally, because the reality, we have to build wealth for ourselves. We have to figure it out. We have the expert, we have the talents. You know, Gabe is all about really, as an economist, banking, really, that he's a roadmap for you all. So thank you, Gabe. We'll stay in touch. Before you leave, you got to do that little move, man. You got to do something. I know you're a banker, Gabe.
This is not for me, man, but I hear you.
Something, Gabe. Come on, Gabe. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Mr.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Leo.
Boston.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one. All right, Boston. Little break. Little dance. Let's go. From your home. Money. Right from your living room. It's a Saturday, right? Oh, come on. Gotta have that balance it out. Listen, man, we are continue here. We are at the Fairmont Innovation Lab. Welcome to the African Shopping Network one more time. We want to, you know, keep the energy going. So just, you know, follow us. Come on, y'all. I gotta get up. Gotta have some fun time, folks. Come on, y'all. Yeah. Hey. Shit it. Boston, New England, how y'all doing? Listen, I'm hyped live. Talk about African Shopping Network. It's all about, you know, showcase the many talented African entrepreneurs, small business in the Boston community area who are, you know, from different places. Our next guest, by way of Zambia, I call him the president of Zambia. He just looked like he about to run from office, take over the world. Mr. Joshua Mwanza. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
So good to see you, man. Happy New Year.
Thanks, same to you. Seeing you dancing, I think you're in the wrong profession. You should have been a DJ.
I know, man. You know how we are as a people, but we have so many talents. We're multifaceted. So I'm trying to figure it out. I might do some DJ, you know, But I'm glad you're here, brother. Listen, I can read your resume all day long, but let's get right into it. Please tell the people who you are, what do you do?
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about what I do and also to listen to the brothers and sisters who came before me. So my name is Joshua Mwanza. Live in Boston. I've been in the financial services industry for 10 years now. And I run a company called the Mwanza Financial Group. I have a team of slightly over 500 agents around the United States.
Wow.
So it's been a journey. It's been a journey trying to build up the company.
So you're not playing, you got a whole village.
No, we're not playing games, especially in 2022. So we have agents all over, right on the mainland. We just started getting agents in Puerto Rico. We have agents in Hawaii. We even have an agent in Guam.
Wow.
Believe it or not. So we are all over the place. So basically what we do is kind of similar to what Rosa on. It was just fun to kind of hear her speak and kind of just some of the things that I've witnessed and some of the challenges also on the client side and on the business side. So we serve the Middle American, families, in the areas again of protection, retirement, college planning, and stuff like that. But we kind of focus a little bit more on the mortgage protection and final expense side, right? Our parent company, those it's the primary market, but we literally do everything in the financial services space. So our primary target are people, they buy their houses and they have to put in some kind of protection that makes sure if anything happens to them while they're still alive, if God forbid they pass, the family doesn't lose the house to the bank. Okay, it's exciting to buy a house. So, if anything happens to you, then it's easy to lose that house to the bank, right? Have a sad story of a personal friend of mine.
Yeah,
not too far from where I live. His father-in-law bought a house, and the man paid for 29 and a half years. In the last 6 months of his life, before he finished the mortgage, he came down with pancreatic cancer. Cut the story short, eventually, after his death and stuff, the family lost the house to the bank. 6 months ago. Right. So that's one market that we serve. And then also folks that are just looking for something small. I think Rosa did mention that a little bit on. We're just looking for a small policy. If anything happens to them, they don't want to burden the family and friends. Right. It could be $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, anything like that. So we help them in that area. We have multiple relationships as far as insurance companies we work with, lead vendors we work with.
Okay.
We're not just serving the African community, we're literally serving the entire
American. Everybody. Wow. Quick question as you're talking real quick. Do you think, like I asked Rosa the same questions, artists, entrepreneurs, small business, do you think they really understand this whole concept of what you're sharing here? I mean, and what do you think is like the obstacles?
Here's and I'll go back to what Rosa just said. It's an education thing, especially for the African population, right? The American population is much easier.
Wow.
Those are conversations.
Why is that?
It's look, as a people, we've never had those conversations in our homes, right? Talking about finances. I mean, my father died when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Not one day did we ever have a conversation about finances in the house. So when he passed, my mother was a full-time housewife. Try to picture that, right? So we don't have those conversations. I remember when I first came to this country working in New York City, I was working for a moving and storage company, moving people from one home to another. I remember being assigned to pack the room of their child. I think the kid was maybe 3 or 4 years old. The books I was getting from that book was about stock trading and stuff like that. That was a bedroom for a 5-year-old.
Wow.
You understand? So you start your children younger, they get all that information, and by the time they're growing up, it makes Rosa's job and my job much easier. And so when those challenges come in, so especially when it comes to the insurance world, some people think when you talk about insurance, immediately you should be dying within the next week, and probably get that beautiful Ghanaian coffin and put it under your bed.
Yes.
But that's not the case. There's so much more to this that insurance products can do, right? Insurance is not just about death, right? You know, you can do college planning using insurance. You can do retirement planning using insurance. But it's not just about death. So this is where the education part comes in for us as a people. Imagine and there are very few of us within the African community that are in this space. So it warms my heart when I see people like Rosa who are also in the business, and because you can literally ask around. It's not like we are so many. We're not too many.
Right.
Even in my team, I have a very large team, right? But most of them are people within my team are not Africans. Right. And so part of what we've embarked on as my organization is also to build up a team of getting people within the African community get involved within the financial services space. So we're both servicing the clients and also helping people build their own businesses.
So you recommend, because as you know, when I also co-host the Boston African Festival, all these African vendors, all these artists, they need to talk to you, basically.
Absolutely. Because most people are just like one paycheck away from disaster.
Wow.
That is just the truth, right? I'll give you an example. One of the guys on my team is from Cuba. He lives in Miami. He got cancer 4 years ago. Couldn't work. He's still alive. Couldn't work. But because of the protections they had put in place, that sustained him. Now imagine you don't have anything. Now you have to feed your family and you have to worry about going through chemo.
Wow.
And he wasn't out for a month. He was out for a very long time.
Wow.
Right. So you kind of have to think about those things. Now coming back to us as immigrants.
Also, somebody in the chat said living benefit. Wow. Yeah, those living benefit.
So you kind of have to think, especially as immigrants, you come from Africa, come here, you come and work for everything, because most of us have got kids. What we do is literally to pass on the legacy to our children. Imagine the example I just gave of my friend. Now, all that what you worked for, literally taken away from you when you're almost done. It's like now you've reset
the clock and over
for a family. I always think about my friend, because that house was worth about $600,000, right?
Wow.
$600,000 worth of wealth robbed from their family. What could have happened if, that could have been an asset if, let's say, they wanted to talk to somebody trying to get a loan. That could have been collateral they used. Right? So all those things that people tend to overlook, very, very important. That is where we come in as a company. And then the other thing that we're also specializing in is within the insurance spaces. We specialize in companies that, for example, you have a mortgage for 30 years. After the 30-year period, the insurance company gives you back all the money that you paid them during that period.
Wow.
Now that's huge.
I didn't even know that part, man. Let me ask you this. I know. What about first? Have you seen a big community for folks from Zambia here in the community? And are you trying to also bring that knowledge back home and trying to build that bridges as well? Because as you know, there's a lot of emerging market opportunity, and we gotta transfer home.
Absolutely.
Here.
Yeah, I think you and I have been friends for a while now. I think you know me. I just don't concentrate on the Zambian market. I'm pretty much work with every African community.
Wow, globe, yeah.
Right. That's me. When you see people that walk into my office, like I think I have a lot of Liberians. I don't know why I haven't seen cut into my office yet.
Well, Gabe, here it is. Right.
And I do have a lot of actually on my team. I have a lot of people from Cape Verde.
Wow. Okay.
I can confidently say I think maybe 10% of the team members of my team are from Cape Verde. Wow. So both here in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. But as far as transferring back, I've seen a lot of insurance companies back home and banks getting into that space. But some of the challenges over there, as far as insurance is concerned, it's not set up like the way it's set up here, right? So I remember this is a situation. My sister went back home. She bought an insurance policy through this agency. Now she's paying to the agency, which was not transmitting money to the insurance company. Wow. And so when she had an accident, the insurance company was like, no, we haven't received anything from you. So I think that's some of those things that need to be ironed out. But generally, speaking about business generally between here and Africa, I think, I mean, you can see there's so much opportunity, a lot of businesses coming up in Africa. What saddens me,
come on, talk about it.
What really saddens me is that all these brothers and sisters start all these companies in Africa. The only people that can invest with millions of dollars are American and European companies. So basically, we are starting the companies and we're selling them out. I can give you examples. Let's go to Nigeria.
Hold on. We got a great question in the chat here, man. I think that's what you're talking. How can we build the bridge? And that's the key. You know what I mean? Like, I hear you when you said you work, but we're looking for that bridge, Josh. What was the key?
Absolutely. And before we started this program, I was looking at the population of Africans in the United States. Right. I think it shows about 1 in every out of 10 of all Black people in the United States are from Africa and not African American. So that gives us about 4 million people just in the United States.
Wow.
Is it possible that 4 million people can afford to put out $1,000 away for in 1 year?
Wow.
That translates to $4 billion.
Ooh.
Now, if you look at the investments going into African startups right now, last year it was something like 1.3 billion.
Yes, I saw the data. 1.2 billion.
So which means just the diaspora in the United States, in this United States, we are capable of delivering 4 or 5 times that amount in 1 year. What's stopping us? We are not organized and we don't have a platform that can drive that financing into one, like creating a fund of some kind. That is a bridge that's missing. Because you see these companies, Paystack, being bought by Stripe. The brothers who started Paystack are now worth $100 million each. Fantastic. But the company is now owned by Silicon Valley, right? The big man.
Silicon Valley, Oh, sorry, John. We got a lot of folks asking. I think as people listen to you, this is the second question here. What are the infrastructure on ramps that can be utilized through governmental advocacy? Because I think, that is the private sector governmental, but
So, sorry, can you repeat that question?
What are the infrastructures on ramps that can be utilized through governmental advocacy?
So I'm really big on private sector because sometimes I think,
and I agree.
Government is there to put in the policies, right? But I think if we rely so much on government as a vehicle to take African economy up, I think we'll be in the same position for a long time. But there could be some partnerships. I believe private sector is the main bridge to there.
And building with the local as well.
With the local. For example, you look at what Tony Elumelu is doing in Nigeria.
The biggest,
I mean, he's trying his best. Let's give it to him. He's trying his best. He gives, I think, like $5,000. They pick all the entrepreneurs from across the continent. Some of the best. They give them mentors. They give them, I think it's $5,000 or $10,000 in seed money.
Wow.
But then once all these entrepreneurs go back to their various countries, they start now what next? Right? Because there are all these levels of funding from Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. That is the big part for me that's missing. You also have in South Africa, what's his name? Vusi. Vusi is also trying his level best, but we need a lot more Vusis. We need a lot more Tony Elumelos, and I believe this is where, if the diaspora were to become organized, not just the US, the European, Asian, Australia, everybody coming together, I think you can create a massive fund fund that would really take over the African, enterprise ecosystem. That's my personal belief.
No, this is amazing, man, and I think that we got to keep this conversation going, and so Josh doesn't play, and I think we got to have that conversation on the local level, the national level, and start small, and that's one of our goals here at Fairmount Innovation Lab when we're talking about spaces or culture to have this type of conversation. This is it, where how do you build wealth through not only financial planning but through emerging market? How do you have a strategy that can benefit both the local here and then the diaspora? Because we exist, we here, we're in Boston, even though we have so many challenges, but the conversation has to start there. But the good news is this, that we have access to Joshua. We are not done. We're going to keep in contact all year long, including all the panelists. But can you tell the people where they can find you, Josh, where they can find you with services?
Absolutely. I'm on Facebook. I'm not I'm not too big on social media, but once you go on Facebook, just put in Joshua Mwanza, you'll find me over there. And or you can call me or text me on 978-884-7460.
One more time, man. They got to hear that because you got all that knowledge. One more time.
Yeah. Either on Facebook, just put in my names, Joshua Mwanza. And then my phone number is 978-884-7460. And I would definitely like to connect with Rosa and see if there are opportunities for us to connect and see what she does and what we do, if there are ways that we can work together.
Definitely. I'm going to make sure that happens, and that's why we're doing this. It's all about creating a network, leveraging a network, making sure that we focus on visibility, from conversation to networking, from execution to game plan, then traveling. So we want to thank you, Josh, man. Before you go, I appreciate you stopping by, but you got to do that dance move for me, man. Something.
Man, Carter and I come from the same mother.
Oh, there you go. Listen, man, thank you so much, Josh. You have a great day. Have a good one, brother.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Hey, MC Omo. Hey. If you're second for me, I go with you, man. You couldn't away, my husband. I want my way, MC Gala. Hey. I want you second. Hey. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? I can't hear you, bro. Can you mute yourself? Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. That's how we do. That's the interest, my brother.
I know.
Hey, they're not ready. They're not. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm doing great. Good to see you, brother. And thanks for all you do, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. We're in this together, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to do show to MC Omo by way of Nigeria, living in Massachusetts. I can go on about your resume, man, but tell the people, who are you? What do you do, brother? Welcome.
All right. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate everything you do. My name is Omo. I go by MC Omo. That's my stage name, and my full name is Omolewa Fagbore. And I'm an MC in the city of Worcester here. I also organize comedy shows, events, weddings, birthdays. You bring your party, we take care of it. That's all we do.
That's it. And I also appreciate you, man, because it's needed. That fun, that energy, Absolutely. And me and you vibe. And then especially as we navigate in COVID, as many entrepreneurs, many artists like yourself, I've been impacted by COVID. It's been really stressful. And we always talk about the intersection between the arts, and mental health. But tell me a little bit about, that fun, that energy, where do you get that from, and how do you translate that to comedy?
I mean, what it is actually a lot of my background, that's, as you know, in Africa, there's a lot of environmental influences that we have, and also family upbringing that influence whatever it is that we do. So for me, I think I've been exposed to a lot of stuff in my life growing up that has allowed me to kind of use that into comedy. You know, it helps me to be able to connect with people, because a lot of my audience can actually relate with my materials. They can relate with what I'm talking about. So it's all stemmed from my upbringing, my experiences and exposure, which I think is quite similar to what some of my audience have actually experienced. So it allows me to be able to connect with them and just use what they already know to make them laugh. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and they connect though. Listen, I've seen some of these men show. They connect. People will laugh until they got to go to the bathroom. People will laugh with their stomach on the floor. I mean, that, you know, essentially it is community building through art, you know, through your performing art. That also,
and I also must commend you too, though, because you're doing a fantastic job. I remember you bringing me on to, I think it was Boston.
The Boston African Festival.
Festival. That was a fantastic event, and I just can't imagine how much work you put into that to actually make it happen for a lot of people, and it was fun. And I just want to thank you for actually bringing me on that.
No, thank you. Yeah, because I mean, I can't do everything, you know, and I think it's never about doing by yourself. We got to get into the conversation, the mindset of collaborative, you know, because we all have talent, we all gifted. And I know we have a lot of challenges, but, you know, we getting there. I think it's all about collaborating, partnership. This is why we do here at Fairmount Innovation Lab, the #1 co-working space, especially for entrepreneur of color, artists of color, locally in Boston, because Massachusetts is a great state. Boston is a great city, you know, creative economy, but we just have to make sure that we are creating space, know, culture for our own. And yeah, that's what it's about. But let me ask you this. I think for yourself as an artist and performing art comedian, what are some of the challenging that you think that you are facing personally, or the immigrant artist, entrepreneur around business resources as capital? What would have been some, do you think has it been easy for you to grow your business? Has it been easy for you to have access, or what's some of the challenging that you have seen or that you are facing?
I think for me, to the best of my knowledge, I think the inability to actually access the resources that are actually available. Because if we say we don't have the resources, I'm definitely lying. There's a lot of resources out there, like you yourself are probably aware. We have these resources, and I think that a lot of us do not know how to actually obtain those resources and utilize them to either grow our businesses or even in a way, especially when COVID hit, and it was a lot difficult for a lot of people to meet their daily demands. You know what I mean? Like the financial need,
operation.
You get what I'm saying? So I think that even when the resources were, you know, put out there, if you don't know how to access it, it's like you don't have those resources.
You don't have to be.
Yeah. So for me though, I think there were a lot of events that I actually had to refund their during COVID, because some of them had to cancel their wedding, some had to just forget about wedding completely and just move on with their life. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of that happened, and so it's been quite difficult. I must say it's been a little challenging to kind of, you know. Yeah,
it has been. I think that's why we're doing this, to kind of create visibility, to know that there's so many of you out there who are visible, who exist, who are being impacted by COVID. And the good news that the resources are out there. And I think, like you said, have a system or even a directory to know where to go. Because me engaging with Joshua was there earlier, and Gabriel, we always talk about the fact that as an African community, we got to have some kind of places a directory where to go when it comes to resources. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that's one thing that is actually lacking in our community, because like Joshua also mentioned, he was trying to come up with a figure of the population of Africans in America. We have this population, and that population will also equal to, you know, revenue in a way, in whatever area or specialty that you find yourself. But at the same time, if you as an African don't have that desire to support other businesses, to go through all the stress that it probably entails for you to patronize a particular business person, then you find that the businesses are not really moving forward, right? So I think there's a lot of intentional action that is required from every one of us to want to support ourselves, to want to grow our businesses. But if we don't have that, then there isn't no way for us to actually move forward, for us to expand your businesses. Or even if you have access to the resources that we're talking about, if you're able to access them, that doesn't grow your business, right? You need the population to actually grow businesses, right? You know, when COVID happened and people are not able to do the businesses the way they want to have done them, you know, you would need some kind of financial support to kind of, you know, get yourself afloat, right? But if you have that after COVID, you still got to be able to go back to business and still function as a person, right? And then you would need people to come back and say, hey, listen, what do you sell? Let me buy. And but if you don't have people coming in, you're going to run out of that resources that you had access to, and then business is no longer functioning. So it's, you know, because if you remember, I used to organize a comedy show every year.
Yeah, I remember throughout Massachusetts. It was everywhere, man. And
absolutely.
It was scaling. Let me ask you this. What about, I mean, what do you see among, you know, that Nigerian community at all in terms of that building bridges? Did you go back home often? Do you have businesses back home? And how can we build? Because I'm asking everybody that question, because the reality is we live here in Massachusetts. We live here in the diaspora. I know that it is a long-term vision, long-term goal, but the small short-term goal is like, how do we start having this conversation about building bridges? Because we go home, we go here, we travel. I mean, what do that look like for you, that building bridges?
I think it is the mentality, man. It's the mindset.
So you start with the mindset.
It's a mindset. You have to understand that as those in diaspora, the way that we look at businesses, right? The way we approach business is quite different compared to how someone in Nigeria would approach businesses, right? And if you're coming in with the American mentality, they look at you like, what is this one saying? What is he talking about? So you're gonna have to have people with an understanding of the Western way of life to be able to bridge that gap in between. But if you have someone who doesn't really understand the Western system, right, and you're coming up with this great idea of how to bridge across to African and do businesses and do the stuff that we're talking about, it's a lot difficult. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot difficult. So if I were to come up with a business idea, I would rather want to do it here. Because going home to establish a business, it means you're going to have to be more frequent, visiting home to ensure that your business is actually moving forward. Because not even talk of the way people actually, the way people are so eager to get money these days, right? Because everything boils back to spending money. If you spend money to set up a business back home and you're not like physically there to see through the entire process of the process,
what's the point? And we got to deal with the trust issue. And
you get what I'm saying? And even family members, you can't really say, "Oh, my family will take care of my business. They got me." You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it can be done, like you rightly said. It can be done. It just takes a lot of intentional effort, to begin the process and see through the entire process.
Yes. And you can never do it alone. And I think we got to be in this together. I mean, to Joshua's point, to Rosa, to Gabriel, to Tomisi, Christian, and even Amadou, and everybody here on the panel, it's kind of like, it's a worth conversation to have. It's not impossible. We just have to figure it out together, because the reality is there are folks that are already doing this back and forth building bridges, but they're kind of like on their own, like in the it's never all together. So
and you also know one part of the problem that we probably may be having is that being able to identify other people's strengths, be able to identify strength areas and utilize that to build that bridge. So if you are if you're really strong with communication, right, letting you handle that department, right? If there's other people who are into like a business area, letting you handle that business area, and giving you the acknowledgement that this area is where we feel like you're strong, and we want to, delegate you to take care of it. You get what I'm saying? So that brings strength, all right? the acknowledgement brings strength, and it allows people to actually function at their best because you're putting them in a place where they can, function in the highest capacity. But if you put people, if one single person wants to do a job of 5 people, you already know that's gonna fail, right? So, and I think that's what we need to do as Africans, being able to acknowledge people's strength and utilize their strength to build that bridge that we're talking about.
Wow. Whew, man, we can continue all day, man. The good thing about this is that, ladies and gentlemen, we have access to Miss MC Omo. First, tell the world where they can find you. Please, if you have upcoming wedding, upcoming ceremony, please hire him. If it doesn't work out, I'll pay you back your money. Let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Listen, people, man, I'm all about love. I'm all about family. I'm all about building love and, connecting people and all that stuff. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. Follow me. I don't know where I'm going, but just keep following me.
Just keep following. Yeah, we need that, man. We need that. I think we definitely want to support.
On Instagram, you can find me MC _Omo. And I'm also on Facebook, MC Omo Fagbor, as in MCOMOFAGBOORE. So find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook. I'm right there. Let's bring the light and love into your event, man.
That's it. Let's do it. Please, follow this brother because we need this. The fun, the energy. And we're here for you too, man. We're going to keep this conversation going. This network that we are building, especially in collaboration with Fairmont, just that space and that culture to develop ourselves, on the business level, on entrepreneurial level, also mental health too, because mental health is big. And I know that as entrepreneur and businesses, we just have to take over ourselves. But yes, please follow MC Omo. Let them know how we do it, bro. It's good to have you, man. It's good to see you again.
I appreciate it.
Hey. Yes.
You're still sitting down. Come on now.
Hey. We'll see you, brother. See you later.
Let's go.
Oh, she be Chris, but she give me with the lowest. No time, I get me with it for life. In case you won't follow me to my place, I can show you the thing when you go see your brain. You holla for more music. Titi banana, Titi ego, Ibi Joba, Ibi Edo, baby come over, don't you worry, no. That's like she did fight karate. I'm going to Bugatti. I'm going to Ferrari. You don't get any choice but to marry. I'm going to be the khaki. You calling me daddy. I'm a to top. Je m'appelle Waneko. Je vais danser avec toi. Pour danser avec moi. I know you like Lukumba. Yeah, that's like a below Lukumba. I know say you like Lukumba. Yeah, that's like a below Lukumba. In love, but she got me falling in love. In love, but she got me falling in love. In love, but she got me falling in love.
Well, Boston, New England, we are at the end of our event, African Shopping Network. Our goal of today was to really just showcase and spotlight some of the talent that we have in the diaspora, especially African businesses, African entrepreneur. And I think, the message is simple. Just have this conversation to elevate the dialogue about really answering the question, how do you build entrepreneurship through how do you build wealth, through entrepreneurship and small businesses, and look at all the different angles, because it's multifaceted. And, start small, start building your businesses, your business idea. And this is what Fairmont Innovation Lab is about, where co-working spaces where, in collaboration with myself and other consultant in-house, and then as we look at how COVID impacted all of us as entrepreneurs or artists, we want to ensure that we have a space for us, that can also promote co-working space. We have memberships. We have a network of experts. We have a lot of stuff cooking, coming up all year long. It's smelling good in collaboration. So it's all about collaborative leadership. And we're going to continue with this. This was the second shopping network. We really want to focus on the local African community, the artists, and there's so many of them. So stay tuned, stay engaged, stay connected. Go to Fairmont Innovation Lab. You can find on social media. I find myself Consciously Expo on Instagram, Consciously Expo. So on behalf of the entire network, on behalf of Fairmont Innovation Lab, on behalf of Consciously Exposed and many other, and I want to thank all the panelists, all the guests that were here, because we're going to have access to them. And this is not over, because we have to continue the conversation, but most importantly, we have to continue to how to execute, how to build bridges, how to build this network. We cannot do it. I cannot do it by myself. We just got to do it together. So remember, the gift that you have, become the gift to your community. The gift that you have, become the gift to Africa. The gift that you have, become the gift to Boston. So until then, we'll see y'all soon. We are done with our broadcast. Happy Saturday, happy Black History Month. And on this note, I'm out. Let's keep the conversation going. Happy Black History Month, y'all. Well, I was trying to get up, folks, but it's coming again. Happy Saturday. Enjoy yourself. Move around. Woo! Now I have to get up. Let's go, people. Maybe I go. Hey. 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 Boston, New England, we'll see y'all soon on the next one, the African Shopping Network. Hey. Yeah.